had a secret condition that made my body react dangerously to any male touch, and of all the nights to forget my medication, it had to be the night I was forced to share a tiny tent with the hottest guy in the office. No one knew about my condition until the company's team building trip. My heart had been pounding the moment the supervisor announced we were staying the night at the hot springs. If I had even an instant of skin contact with a man, my body would flare up with an uncontrollable heat. In minor cases, I'd get flushed. In worst cases, my knees would buckle and I'd lose all control. I had never told anyone because it was just so embarrassing. When I was younger, I presumed I'd simply grow out of it. That was until I realized the symptoms were getting worse. Fighting back the shame, I finally went to the doctor and got medication to suppress the impulses. However, this trip was organized out of the blue, and I had left my pills at home. I tried to stay in the back, warning myself to keep my distance, but our supervisor suddenly announced, "Sorry, guys, all the rooms are booked, but we have tents. Ruth, you're in Dean's tent." And that was how we got to this situation, me, suffering from withdrawal, following the burly, handsome Dean into a small, enclosed space. I did my best to curl up in the corner of the tent, biting my lip and closing my eyes, praying to fall asleep before the last dosage wore off completely, but that was when Dean moved closer. "What's wrong?" he asked. I could feel his body heat radiating against my back, and my skin was already prickling. "Nothing. I'm fine," I lied. "Xinghao, please, just stay away from me." Xinghao. But even as the sensation extended from my skin to the rest of my body, I knew the wave was coming. I checked my phone midnight. It had been 6 hours since my last pill. Soon, my whole body was shuddering. The warm, damp heat was pooling between my legs. I kept my head buried in my knees, terrified Dean would notice. Meanwhile, Miles, the other colleague in the tent, was already snoring. I clenched my fists, digging my nails into my palms to ground myself. "Sorry," I whispered to Dean. "I'm just not feeling well." I never expected Dean to move toward me without another word. He reached out with his large, warm palm and pressed it against my forehead. The moment he touched me, my eyes snapped open. I found myself staring at his chest, the distinct collarbone visible under his shirt. My body tightened instantly. The wave of intense pleasure crashed through me, and I barely stifled a whimper. I trembled violently, and Dean could feel it. "That's strange," he murmured, his hand lingering on my cheek. "You're so flushed, but you don't have a fever." I turned my face away, grinding my jaw to keep quiet. The tent was filled with his scent soap and something distinctly masculine. It was driving me crazy. In a panic, I pushed Dean away and scrambled out of the tent, not caring that my skirt was short or that I was stumbling. "Ruth," Dean called out. He followed me immediately. The fire in my veins was ablaze. All I could think about was Dean's voice, his hands, his skin. I barely made it a few steps before my legs gave out. I dropped to my knees, the overwhelming sensations making me weak. Dean caught me before I hit the ground. "Ruth, what is going on?" He was usually the quiet, reliable type at the office, but right now, his concern was my undoing. The more he helped me, the more skin contact we had. I gritted my teeth as I wrapped my arms around his waist.